The Ottawa Senators dominated the St. Louis Blues. The score is 7-2. The Sens outshoot the Blues 34-32. The Sens are 1 for 4 on the power play. The Blues 0 for 6. The Senators snap back 57% of the faceoffs. Let's get to our SensCentral standouts presented by the GLEBE Central Pub. Pilsy, who is your number one standout from tonight's game? Lots to choose from. We'll go around twice.
Yeah, we'll snap it around twice for sure. You know what? I'm going to start with Tim Stutzle because those goals that he scored all alone, and the one goal we didn't mention was his second goal, and I love that one because he had Grice totally convinced he was going to go back to that backhand deke. Like if you rewatch it, he's doing a couple quick dekes in front, and then he puts his body position in such a way that it seems like he's going to slide over. And then as soon as Grice bites on that, he goes 5-hole because he's opened up trying to slide over to stop that backhand from happening once again. Martian already mentioned the beautiful pass. We already talked about the backhand. And these are the types of games. We saw it. We were there when Tim Stutzle was on the ice for that overtime goal against the Blackhawks. He was furious. He did the one hand hammer the stick down like multiple times. Like
he does that a lot.
He does do that a lot, but you could tell that one meant a lot to him, and he felt like he kind of let the team down, not getting back on that back check for that goal. So what does he do? Takes it all in, has a day to sit on it, and then he says, I'm going to come back a lot better, and he was a lot better tonight. So my first SensCentral standout is going to be Tim Stutzle. He is an absolute superstar.
And real quick too, Pilsy, I completely agree. Obviously, this is a really easy pick for you, but let's not forget the beginning of the game. He got really engaged physically too, which is something that's kind of an underrated part of his game. And he just absolutely drills Colton Parayko from, I would say, like a little bit from behind. He might have left his feet a little bit. The refs ended up calling it what did they call it? A boarding penalty?
I thought they called it charging. Let me double check here, though.
They called it charging, but if it was a boarding penalty, then that review could have ended up turning into a 5 and a 10. But because they called it a charge instead of a board, they weren't able to. I think they probably wanted to give him that 5 minute plus a 10 for that hit because it was a little greasy, to be honest, but heavy contact, and that's a big boy for him. So. Yeah. I love that stuff from Timmy. When he gets engaged physically, he's elite because he's mad at everybody around him.
It's certainly great to see the analytics were on Tim Stutzle's side in this game as well. He was just creating all over the ice, and great to see him back with Claude Giroux. I like the chemistry those two guys have. And then, I mean, any line Brady's on becomes the number one line on this team. Physically, Brady was a monster, and that's where I'm going to go with my first SensCentral citizen. If you heard his comments after the Friday game, you knew this was going to be a big captainship performance from Brady Tkachuk, and he answered the bell. The tip-in goal's nice. The 2 assists, even better. He just is such a monster out there, and I absolutely love what he brought physically tonight as well. Didn't get credited with any hits, but he was finishing his checks hard and 50% in the dot. So I think more emotionally than anything, even more than the numbers, 2 shots on goal. We don't like that under hitting. Never liked the under for Brady shots on goal, but he was the leader of this team, and I think he deserves the first shutout for me as SensCentral standout.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that was how many 3-point nights does this guy have under his belt this season? He's absolutely tearing it up. Multiple.
On that note, I was just going to say Brady Tkachuk, stick taps, 250 NHL points.
Nice.
He's the fastest,
Ottawa Senator to get, the youngest. I don't know if it was the fastest. I didn't see games played, but the youngest Ottawa Senator to reach 250 career NHL points. Number 2, Jason Spezza. Number 3, Marian Hossa. Number 4, Martin Havlat. And number 5, Erik Karlsson. Pretty decent list to be a part of. And now he's on a career-high 6-game point streak. It was already a career high at 5. He's now extended it 6 straight games with at least a point for the captain, Brady Tkachuk.
And enjoy being that youngest player to 250 for now, Brady, because Tim Stutzle is right behind you.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, he's coming for that one. So enjoy it while it lasts there, Brady. I guess it's my turn here, and it's going to be an easy one for me too, because you left me the only other guy who had 3 points tonight. And I got a little heat on the Twitter for leaving him out of the Senators stocks. But I do always say that when Alex DeBrincat scores goals for the Ottawa Senators, he's going to be my standout every single time. When he finishes those those goals like that, it just makes life so much easier for everybody, right? That's what we expect from him. That's what he's going to do. I don't even need to go any further than that. I think DeBrincat had a really good game. Obviously, he had the 2 assists as well, and that first assist he had was a lovely little feed as well. But boys, like Alex DeBrincat needs to keep burying pucks, and this team's going to have a chance to win every time he does it. What's the record when he scores? You probably don't know off the top of your head, but it's good.
Definitely good.
Let me pull it up. Pills, you got anything more to add on DeBrincat?
It's just really nice to see him finally be able to finish these plays. Like you said, Martian, like that's a goal Alex DeBrincat of the Chicago Blackhawks will finish every time. He hadn't been able to do that for the Ottawa Senators for the start of the year, but he had a couple goals where just recently it was elite sniper goals, and I think he's got that confidence back, and now he's feeling good. He's fully in the groove of being with a new team, and I'm not worried about this kid whatsoever. And it felt really good to hear Pierre Dorion shut all the nonsense rumors of Alex DeBrincat being traded. Like, that was just absolute
crazy
crap.
talk.
Anyone that thought that was a possibility or a smart move was, I don't even know what to describe that. That's just that you just can't have that outlook. So
I don't understand why that was even a discussion in the first place. Like,
me neither. Like, I can't. And it was very clear that Alex DeBrincat now wasn't going to get a return that the Ottawa Senators would be willing to do. So why would you trade him? He's an RFA. He fits into this core perfectly. So Alex DeBrincat, he's looking good as an Ottawa Senator lately.
The Ottawa Senators are 14-1-1 when Alex DeBrincat scores. 2 most recent games against Calgary and then today.
Imagine he's a 40-plus goal scorer again. You're looking at 40-plus wins. Let's go.
Insane correlation between DeBrincat scoring goals and the Ottawa Senators winning games. Martian, why don't we do this snake style?
I knew you were going to go with snake draft. I love when you guys do that because I wanted to talk about this guy because he was taking major heat after the Chicago game from our fan base. And whether it's deserved or not, I think there were a few, defensive plays last game where he looked like he was struggling out there, and that's Thomas Chabot. But tonight he had a really good bounce back game. I think it came right from the get-go. And our boy Meth, too, he was talking about it on the broadcast in that first intermission where, Chabot was picking his spots properly when he's playing smart. And you usually see it from him early in the game, right? And that's something that you talk about with that overutilization of him on the ice. When he comes late in the games, he starts making mistakes because he's probably mentally fatigued. And tonight he was great. He had an apple. He was +3 out there, and he played. He played the right amount of minutes, I think, tonight for Thomas Chabot, and he did his job well tonight. And you can't say anything bad about that. And for everybody who attacks him online and stuff, just guys like give it a rest for just a second here. If he has one bad game here and there, who gives a shit, right? It's a one bad game. You can't jump on this guy left and right. He's been the staple for how long here on this team on that back end, and he's had to deal with some really bad partners he's had to play with.
Big time.
I get it. It's easy to get frustrated, but you can't turn Thomas Chabot into a whipping boy.
I know. And well, hey, when he's playing 23 minutes and he plays like tonight, he's not going to be whipped at all. He's going to be praised as he should be. He was awesome tonight. How about 4 block shots as well? That's a nice little stat line for him. And Brady, both with 4 blocks in this game. But yeah, out of his 23, over 4.5 played on the power play. That's perfect for him. And then you won't run him into the ground where the big problem is when he gets tired or fatigued, we'll use the term. That's when he slows down, and that's when the decision making isn't as good as it should be. So
the mind goes, then the hands go, then the legs go. Like, that's the order, right? It's the head first. So,
Pilsy, can I hand it off to you? I can go 2 different ways. I'm happy to lay it out there if you have one in particular you want to jump on.
Oh yeah, I got.
Oh, here we go. Another Canadian standoff here, Pilsy.
No, I'm taking that. I'll take this one gladly to move things along. But I do want to touch on Chabot a little too. He was playing physical too in that highlight pack that you referenced that our good friend Mark Mathot was talking about. I don't know who he hit, but he had a good hit behind the net. Like, this was clearly a bounce back game for Thomas Chabot too. So I like that pick, Martian. I'm going to go with who I thought you were going to take, Martian, and How do you leave a guy who gets his first NHL goal on the board? The Riddler gets a goal finally. He's been working hard. You mentioned, we talked about how good this team has been when Alex DeBrincat scores a goal. How about how good this team has been when Ridley Greig has been in the lineup? It's been crazy. And now, obviously, with only one goal in this stretch, it's not all on Ridley Greig, but he seems like he's given this team a spark. He's kind of brought some youthful energy in, and especially Claude Giroux loves having him around. Like, I think that really boosted Claude Giroux's morale, and Ridley Greig does a great job winning that draw. Brass gets it back to Chabot. Chabot, all you want him to do at that point, don't get too fancy, don't try to do too much, just get a puck on net. Sure, the puck gets blocked, but that's when you've got a fourth line like that, and you've got guys like Parker Kelly, like Ridley Greig, that are going to battle for those loose pucks. Ridley gets the loose puck, and he does the smart, simple play too. Just fire it on net, and that beats Thomas Greiss. And sure, it's a 7th goal, so it doesn't really mean much in a 7-2 game, but that's got to be one that it's nice to get the monkey off your back if you're Ridley Greig. So that's going to be my second SensCentral standout.
And over 175 votes are in, and 64% say Ridley Greig will get the goggles from Kevin Mandolese. Better be a quick turnaround because Sens are in Boston tomorrow. DJ Smith mentioning they will have Julien Gauthier in the lineup. Gauthier will make his Sens debut tomorrow in Boston, but will my final SensCentral standout be in the lineup? It's Mads Søgaard. Come on, what a bounce back. He was hard on himself after the Chicago game, unrightfully so. Sure, you want to get everything short side, but Patrick Kane has done that to much more experienced goalies for years, for decades in the NHL. You take your licks, you get back out, and with Søgaard, it's always been, can he string multiple good performances together? And now he's shown that, in my opinion, a Friday, Sunday, back to like day off, day on, NHL lifestyle, and he was able to show bounce back now. 3 and 4, though, probably not where I'm leaning. I'd go Kevin Mandolese. Pilsy, before we get to that, though, to wrap up our SensCentral standouts, because we post this as its own video, I'll recap as well, if I can recall, as I'm a little bit of a peanut brain. I got Brady Tkachuk and Mads Søgaard. Pilsy, who do you got?
Tim Stutzle and Ridley Greig.
And Martian?
DeBrincat and Chabot.
Let us know in the comments who is your SensCentral standout, presented by the GLEBE Central Pub from a 7-2 win over the St. Louis Blues.